My beloved child, before you hear another word, come closer to me for just 10 seconds. Put down the weight you have been carrying. Stop trying to solve tomorrow before it arrives. Stop pretending that you are stronger than you feel. Let me hold you in a strong embrace. Rest your head against my heart. Breathe slowly. Feel my peace reaching into the deepest places of your soul where fear, disappointment, and exhaustion have quietly built their home. I know the tears you wiped away before anyone noticed. I know the prayers that became shorter because you were afraid of hoping again. I know the nights when you questioned whether I still remembered your name. That is why this message found you today. You may believe you stumbled upon these words by chance, but I saw this moment long before you did. I brought you here because you stand at a crossroads between surrendering to discouragement and stepping into a season you cannot yet imagine, and if you stay with me until the end, you will begin to understand why nothing in your journey has been meaningless. My child, you often look at your life and see only ashes. You remember lost opportunities, broken trust, wrong decisions, delays, and disappointments that seem impossible to explain. You ask me, why did you allow these things to happen? Why did you not stop the pain before it reached me? I understand those questions because I know how tired your heart has become, but I want you to see something you cannot yet fully understand. Sometimes the very wounds you resent today were the barriers that prevented you from running toward destruction disguised as success. Some disappointments removed people who would have stolen your peace. Some closed doors protected you from seasons that would have left your soul wounded beyond what you were prepared to carry. I do not create evil, but I know how to redeem what was meant to break you and transform it into the foundation of restoration. You see ruins where I see rebuilding. You see endings where I see preparation. You see loss where I see room being made for something deeper, stronger, and more beautiful than you dared to expect. My beloved child, one of the greatest burdens you carry is the belief that you have fallen too far behind. You watch others move ahead while your own journey seems painfully slow. You quietly wonder if I changed my mind about you, if your mistakes canceled your purpose, or if your years of waiting were simply wasted. But I am not like people who lose interest when time passes or withdraw love when someone stumbles. I have never measured your life according to someone else's pace. I do not look at your failures and declare your story finished. I look at your weary heart and see someone still trying to stand after battles that would have crushed many others. What I began within you, I still intend to complete. The years you call lost years are years I have been using to shape humility, perseverance, wisdom, and a faith that depends on me rather than on circumstances. One day you will look back and whisper, "The waiting was not wasted. Every tear carried a purpose. Every delay was teaching me to trust the heart of God." So today, my child, I ask you not to pull away from me because of your pain. Do not assume my silence means my absence. Some of the deepest works I perform happen in seasons when you feel I am speaking the least. I am not asking you to smile while your heart is still hurting. I am not demanding that you become strong before coming to me. I only ask you to remain close enough for me to reach the hidden places you do not allow anyone else to touch. Bring me your fear, your disappointment, your anger, your questions, and your exhaustion. Do not carry them alone any longer. Pain was never meant to become your permanent home. It is only the soil being turned over so that I can plant something new. And when you finally understand what I have been growing beneath the surface of your tears, you may discover that you are standing much closer to your breakthrough than you have ever imagined. My beloved child, there is another truth I need you to hear because many people abandon their faith at the very moment they are closest to seeing my hand move. The pressure you have been feeling is not always evidence that you are losing ground. Sometimes pressure increases because old ways of thinking are breaking apart to make room for something greater. The enemy wants you to believe that exhaustion means defeat, that unanswered prayers mean rejection, and that waiting means, I have forgotten you. But I have never forgotten you. I remember every whispered prayer spoken through tears. I remember every night you lay awake wondering if anything would ever change. I remember the moments when you smiled in front of others while carrying wounds that no one else knew existed. You think I have been distant because you cannot see what I am doing. but I have been working in places beyond your sight, aligning circumstances, protecting your future, and preparing answers that require a stronger version of you to receive them. That is why I do not want you to make permanent decisions based on temporary discouragement, because what feels like a season of silence may actually be the season where I am accomplishing my deepest work. My beloved child, comparison has become one of the greatest thieves of peace in your generation. You look around and see people celebrating breakthroughs, restored relationships, financial blessings, and answered prayers while your own journey seems delayed. Quietly, you begin asking questions that burden your soul. Why do others appear to move forward while I remain here? Why do their prayers seem answered so quickly while mine seems suspended in silence? But I never intended for you to measure your story against someone else's chapter. You cannot see the battles I protected them from, just as they cannot see the hidden victories taking place within you. Some blessings arrive quickly because they carry simple assignments. Other blessings require years of preparation because they are connected to purposes much larger than you currently understand. What you call delay, I often call mercy. What you call disappointment, I often call redirection. There were people you desperately wanted to keep who could not travel into your future. There were opportunities you begged for that would have stolen your peace and distracted you from your calling. Trust that my timing has never been designed to punish you. It has always been designed to preserve what I lovingly prepared for you long before you ever prayed about it. I also want you to understand that not every distraction enters your life looking dangerous. Some distractions arrive dressed as opportunities, achievements, endless responsibilities, entertainment, and the constant pressure to stay busy. Gradually, they consume your attention until you begin speaking more often to your worries than to me. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and without noticing it, intimacy is replaced with routine. But the emptiness you occasionally feel cannot be filled by accomplishments, possessions, or approval from people. That longing within your heart exists because you were created for relationship with me. The restlessness you experience during quiet moments is not condemnation. It is my invitation calling you back into closeness. Come back and sit with me again. Speak honestly about your fears. Tell me about the disappointments you hide from everyone else. Bring me the anger, confusion, and exhaustion that you are tired of carrying. You do not need polished prayers or perfect words. I simply want your honest heart, because healing often begins at the moment when you stop pretending you are fine, and finally allow me to meet you exactly where you are. So today, my beloved child, I ask you for one thing above all else. Do not quit. Rest when you are weary. Cry when your heart feels overwhelmed. Sit quietly in my presence when you do not know what to say, but do not walk away from the promise I planted inside you. There is a difference between resting and surrendering. Rest allows me to renew your strength, restore your joy, and remind you that you are deeply loved. Surrendering to hopelessness causes many people to leave the field moments before the harvest appears. I did not carry you through sleepless nights, painful losses, hidden battles, and impossible seasons simply to leave you standing at the edge of defeat. I have remained faithful through every storm you survived, and I will remain faithful now. Hold tightly to my hand, even if all you possess is a small thread of hope, because what I want to reveal next may completely transform the way you see your past, your present, and the beautiful future I have been preparing for you all along. My beloved child, there is one final truth I have been waiting to place within your heart, because the day you truly embrace it, fear will no longer have permission to rule your life. You have spent years looking at what was lost, replaying painful memories, mourning doors that closed, and questioning prayers that seemed unanswered. You have wondered if you missed your moment, if your failures changed my plans, or if the years of waiting somehow disqualified you from receiving what I promised. But I want you to understand this clearly. I have never measured your future by your worst moments. I have never looked at your brokenness and decided to abandon the work I started within you. I saw every time you wanted to quit but chose to keep moving. I saw every morning you got out of bed carrying burdens that no one else knew existed. I saw every silent act of faith, every hidden sacrifice, and every decision to keep trusting me even when your heart was exhausted. What you call wasted years have been years of preparation. I was strengthening roots that no storm could uproot, building a faith that does not collapse when circumstances change, and shaping a heart capable of carrying blessings without losing its dependence on me. One day you will look back at this season and realize that what felt like delay was actually divine preparation for a future far greater than you imagined. My beloved child, stop introducing yourself through your wounds. Stop allowing old disappointments, betrayals, mistakes, and regrets to speak louder than my voice. The enemy wants you to remain trapped inside memories because it fears the person you are becoming. It fears the moment you finally believe that you are still chosen, still loved, and still called, despite everything you have endured. It fears the day you stop seeking validation from people and begin resting securely in my acceptance. You are not defined by the relationship that ended, the opportunity you lost, the words spoken against you, or the failures that still haunt your thoughts. You are defined by my love for you. The pain you survived did not destroy your purpose. It refined it. The tears you cried were not signs of weakness. They watered seeds of compassion, wisdom, patience, and strength within your soul. I have been turning your deepest wounds into places where healing will eventually flow to others. The testimony you are carrying is still being written, and the chapters that hurt the most may become the chapters that inspire someone else never to give up. My beloved child, I do not want you to spend another day expecting disappointment. I want you to wake up believing that my goodness is still pursuing you. I want you to pray with confidence again, worship with freedom again, and dream with expectation again. You do not need to know every detail about where I am leading you in order to trust me. A child walking beside a loving father does not need a map because the father's presence provides security. In the same way, I ask you to trust my heart even when you cannot trace my hand. Continue taking small steps of obedience. Continue thanking me before the answer arrives. Continue believing that I am working even when emotions suggest otherwise. Faith is not denying pain. Faith is choosing to believe that I remain faithful in the middle of pain. It is deciding that your circumstances will not become your master and that fear will no longer determine your future. Keep walking with me one day at a time because every small step of trust is moving you closer to the season you have prayed for through countless tears. And now, my beloved child, hear these words and keep them close to your heart. Do not stop now. Do not become another person who turned back moments before witnessing the very breakthrough they spent years asking me to provide. Let your story be different. Let it be said that even when your hands trembled, you continued holding on. Even when tears blurred your vision, you kept walking. Even when doors stayed closed and answers seemed delayed, you refused to surrender your faith. I'm not merely preparing a temporary blessing for you. I am teaching you to live with deeper peace, stronger trust, greater wisdom, and an unshakable confidence that you are fully known, deeply loved, and never abandoned. Stay close to me. Protect your heart from distractions. Return to me daily, even if all you have are a few honest words and a willing spirit. Keep moving forward one faithful step at a time, because the page you believed was ending is actually the beginning of a beautiful chapter I have been writing for you since the day I first called you my beloved child. And very soon you will understand why I never allowed you to give up.